Okay, I was just playing against Raskolnnikov, and we agreed to a 5-game match. So let's get it going. I'm gonna try and play the check, but only the first game. Computer is a bit clunky right now. But we'll try to make it work. Make it work. Knight g2, e2. There's always a possibility to sacrifice a pawn here, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Just gonna build up here. He's gonna play f4 at some point, and we're gonna have a bit only type position. I might play knight c7, and at some point maybe try and play b5. That's one plan. If he plays f4, it's important for me not to allow f5. That can get a bit hairy for me. So yeah, so if he does nothing, then knight c7, b5 looks like a plan. It's not the end of the world for just gonna check if yeah, okay. Just checking if the connection was doing okay. Bishop g5 is a move at some point, but he'll just play f4. But then again, maybe that's not a big deal. He plays b4. Did not really expect that. I think I'll actually take now. I hope to have the c5 square. If he exchanges, I think it's quite good because of the black squares, but it can get tricky, so we'll see. We'll see. I have a small time edge right now. Let's keep the position like it is. Queen b3. Okay, first of all, it's beneficial for me to exchange these bishops, so I'll just go ahead and do that. Second of all, I can play a5, which I just realized, which wins at least the exchange. Because the rook has no square, so he has to play here, and I take it. And I don't think it's very good for him because I get the knight c5. And then I'll probably just exchange this knight off, play queen e7, bishop d7, take on b5, and try to go from there. So queen e7 first. Okay, goes knight back. I'll go here. Now if the knight comes back, I take it. This I didn't really expect, but what to do really? Let's go here. If he plays f5 now, then queen g5, and I have some squares, the black squares. So I like to the queen. And like earlier, if he had played f5, then he would have a big attack. But now that I'm up the exchange, we exchange the black squared bishops. I'm not really worried about any of that happening. Okay, I need to somehow distract this one. Then we can take on c1, but it's hard to imagine that happening anytime soon. Let's just play a waiting move. Hope he plays like knight g1, trying to go to f3. Which makes some sense. Yeah. It's nice when I just fall for it. This is a 5-game match, so well, best of 5 actually. So first to 3. I don't think we were counting the first one, so we'll see. He was playing the Slav in the first game. Well, he didn't really have anything, so let's just see what he has in mind. It takes now on c4. Taking advantage of the fact that I'm not really going to castle. Going to play queen e2. I have a small trick here. If b5, bishop b3, bishop b7, I take c5. And he can't take back with the bishop because bishop takes b5 check. So he's falling for every trick right now. This is just it's a blitz trick. He might have some play because he has an advantage in development, but yeah, just f2. I mean, now he has to make a move so he can castle. I'll take that. I'm just up 2 pawns. Still he can't castle. He would like to play, I guess, rook here and swing it around. So I will play b4. Do I have anything else? Knight c3, rook here. Bishop d2. I'm not really a fan of. B4. Stopping capacity. And maybe I can play b5, bishop a3, something like that. Still kind of tough if he can't castle. Knight d5, rook d1, just threatening some evil stuff. Knight takes e4. Don't see any dangerous discoveries. I think I'm threatening e4 now. I think I am threatening e4. Okay, e4. I do not understand. I want to play rook c8, so maybe I was slightly clumsy there. e4, rook c8. Queen somewhere, knight c2. Let's go e4, rook c8, queen d4, knight c2. I can take this one, but king e7. I think it's okay. I'll go for it. Knight c2, queen takes g7. Yeah. But having said that, well, I didn't really say anything. This was all quite unnecessary. So I gave up 1 pawn back here for kind of nothing, so that was pretty bad. And now I can castle, so well, not immediately, but it's not as bad for him as it was. Yeah. Bishop b2 might be coming up. Just want to do some rook c3 or something. Nah, then knight e5. Maybe 5. Yeah, but I completely messed up. Okay. So maybe we should just try and be solid right now. Something like this. Just try and keep everything protected. Yeah. F4, we'll just go. I need to make a move. My clock is ticking right now. Not sure what this move is. Okay. Oh! So it's knight f4 or something, so yeah. Ah, come on, I have to make a move. Oh, this is ridiculous. How did it get so bad, man? Wow. I went from like completely winning, like without any worries whatsoever, into now struggling on the clock. Probably gonna play f4. I thought I would play f4. I'm going to b5. Knight d4, I guess. Is there any tricks? Let's hope not. It better not be. So it goes for. Oh, I thought it would take on f3, but okay. It would take on f3. At least I can run my pawn quite fast. What? Any matrix? Well, yeah. Okay, I like this one actually. There's knight h3. Go here. Go 6. 7. Okay, he was nice enough to resign. He could have played for time, but probably would have prevailed since I have some lag issues. Let's change things up. Let's not. We'll play the regular Benoni now, the modern Benoni, not the chess Benoni. See what line he has for us. There. He wants to play bishop f4 probably. Not a4. Okay. Guess a6 and bishop f4 we transpose. He's gonna play bishop f4 eventually. And I'm experiencing some clunkiness. Look at this. I made them already, but 3 seconds. Went away. 95 is always a solid move here. Okay, he might take, but could be 3. Okay, and if I play rook b8, he takes on h6. Crap. Rook b8 bishop takes a6. I don't have anything fancy there. It's an ugly move, but okay, I at least wanted to play e4 before I go back to c8. Just to weaken some squares, but okay, maybe he wants to play e4 anyway. Eventually. This is a solid line for white. This is what I like to play for white. When I played d4, c4, which I haven't been doing much of recently. Now I'm forced to go back. But I'm hoping that at least I got some play. I think knight c7 now, rook b8. Try and put something on b5 maybe. And hopefully not the too distant future if I can. Maybe I should have been going for g5, h5, something like that. Let's see, bishop d7. If knight b6 now, just rook b8. And now I can put something on b5, which is always good if I can accomplish that in the Benoni. So that would be a slight accomplishment for me. So which piece? We should put a bishop. Probably it's a problem piece, so let's put it here. Then I'll follow up with a knight, which can then try and go into d4. Takes, I can take with the pawn as well. I'm not sure though which one is better. I think I'll take with the knight, try and activate it. Okay, you know, this looks good, this formation, but is it really accomplishing anything? I'm not sure. Okay, he wants to eventually play f4. But I'll play here. He's gonna play f4. Well, not yet, okay. I'll start with knight d4. Do we have any tricks? Not yet. F5 is dangerous, but yeah, it's too dangerous. 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 F4 knight here. Rook e8. F4 knight here. Knight c4. No, he takes. Let's put pressure on e8, makes sense. I guess. I mean e4. They're playing rook e8. This has to be played. I think he has to take. Oh, the other knight. Okay, but it's not really a pawn. That's a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna add a defender to d6 actually, because it's a bit annoying right now. And let's play faster actually. I'm a bit tied down, so maybe, well, not maybe, he's probably playing a pretty good game here. Pretty good game. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'll continue here, so looks like I messed up here quite badly. Let's put the knight back here, and then what? Actually, not sure. This one looks horrible, but what to do? At least trying to get some counterplay. I can maybe take on d5 now. Yeah, let's just do that. f4 should have been played maybe. Okay, and f3 now. Now I'm getting some counterplay, which I didn't really deserve, but I got it. Let's go h5. He can't really take. I took on d4. I can play f2 check. Take this one. Oh, missed that one. Now he's in deep duty. And I think I have a winning position, but I don't know. Oh, he keeps offering a rematch, so I guess he wanted to play 5 games. Okay, let's keep going with d4, knight f6. Okay, I like that we're not always playing the same openings. d5 goes for. I was hoping for knight of bishop b4 on the Nimsa, which I played yesterday. Okay, queen c2 and e3. Somehow I can't play these moves fast. It's kind of weird, but okay. We'll castle, and the eventual plan is to play with f3 and try and play e4 at some point. So I'm going for at least. So king h1 is usually a decent prophylactic move in these positions, so I'll just go ahead with that one. We'll play f3 now. Bishop can swing back to f2. Well, it's not really necessary. I'll go for that in any case. Just so there are no funky tactics. That move. He's playing it really fast. Probably have Queen D2. I think if he plays B5, sorry, C4, and I just got added protection to D4, I can still go around and try and play E4. So it goes A6. He keeps surprising me here. I'd like to play E4, but it's not yet possible. Just see what he has in mind. I'm not sure what his plan is. It's hard to actually play these positions if you're not really fresh. It's hard to play them properly without practice. Possible to take with a knight also, but I'll take with pawn. Yeah, no, I don't know if my position is anything to write home about. Probably not. So where I'm going with this. Exchange some pieces randomly. And that h5 is good now. That h5 is quite good. Did not expect that move, but it looks like a good move. Queen back and bishop d3 probably. Do not like the speed with which my opponent is playing. Puts the bishop on active. Denying square. Let's hope my position is slightly better here. I'm hoping he made some weaknesses with his pawns, like a6 is under attack now. Yeah, but really. Let's see one. Okay, everything fine for now. Bishop to no, I take the rook. But where do we go from here? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Queen there. This I did not expect. But it's probably not a bad idea. Let's take this one first and check. Okay, he wants to come into. I don't really have a choice, though, do I? Let's go here. Takes with a knight, and even though he gets the rook into my position, he isn't attacking anything. Okay, nice tactic, which I fell for, and I have to resign. Yeah, let's move. So 5 games, or... I think this is probably the last game. Okay, so we agreed this is last game. Let's try something different. Let's go with the Leningrad. Okay. I do not understand the clunkiness I'm experiencing. It's probably because I haven't restarted my computer in a while, so it's a bit slow. So e5 is a move here. He takes, I go c6. Well, actually, I can. Yeah, okay. Me, Damon. I have to play c6 so that I can either take with the bishop, or at least threaten it, and after knight f4 I can play knight c5. Knight g5. Okay. Now once it comes to f7, that's a new wrinkle. But can he knight c5, knight f7, queen e7, queen takes d6? Yeah, I haven't seen that one before. But if I go queen e7 first, and then whenever he moves the knight I can take on e6. But now I can play bishop f4, which makes a lot of sense. I'll probably have to play a passive move like this one. But on the other hand, now I can start to push back. Well, he plays knight f7 now. Ooh. Bishop takes e6, knight takes d6, rook d8 might be a problem for him. Yeah, it probably is. Queen d2. Anticipating h6, h6, 7 on d6. Which I don't like. But I can take on e6. That's usually not a big worry for me to give up the light squared bishop in the Leningrad. Now we're attacking c4. The knight can come to c5. Hopefully after rook d8 our position will start to make sense. Bishop e5 is also a possibility, but I like... Well, can I go knight c5, bishop takes, and just rook d8? I think so. Maybe I could have just taken on c4. Okay, bishop e5 is a possibility now if takes. I'm doing good. a5 is also a move. I'll go with a5. I want to keep this knight here. My next move is bishop e5 if I can. Okay, he wants to play e4. Just making that clear. Clear. Bishop e5. e4. Bishop takes f4. I think I like this if I can. Probably gonna play e4 though. Don't really need the pre-move. So e4, yeah. Okay. I could take on c3, queen takes, pawn takes e4. Just try and hold on to a pawn. f3. d4. Yeah. Rook takes and knight f6 might be a possibility. I'm running out of ideas here, so maybe I should have taken with the knight. I'm not sure. Okay, keep an eye on this as well. It's a tricky situation. So maybe if f3, rook takes f4, pawn takes, knight f6, takes, that's not really a worry for me. Let's keep that here, just so the knight. Okay, you can take an e4 now, yeah, it's a problem. Not a big one, but... Let's take the knight. Ooh. Yeah, that move I missed. So, yeah, so 3 in a row, but then I lost the last 2. Rather clumsily. So, look, should we, yeah, let's have a look at the game so that, well, everybody can learn something. Just a minute. Okay, so here is the post-mortem. This is the first game where I had the black pieces and I went for the check bet only with e5 here. So knight g3, d6, everything normal here. You went for g3. In some cases, when they go knight f3, yeah, actually instead of casting a6 is actually interesting, and the idea is to meet knight f3. So let's say a6, knight f3. The idea is b5. You get kind of Benko pressure, but here it's actually a slightly better version, because if knight here, then he has some problems castling, and we can catch up here with development and get some pressure on the queen side. Interesting line, not saying it's good, or I mean it's playable definitely. But he castled, went knight g2, quite solid. Like any castled. Yeah, I could play b5 here as well, but I don't think it's as good of a version, but it's always an interesting pawn sacrifice. I decided to play more solid this time. a4, b6, h3, 98. And he went for b4, which I'm not so sure about in this particular situation. I do get a nice c5 square from a knight, and he needs some pressure here immediately to make it work. I thought he would play f4 here, when most likely I have to take. Bishop h6 is a possibility. Idea take with a knight on e5, or if f5 then take on c1, but in general I think I have to take. And if he doesn't take with a pawn, then I get the square, but otherwise we have an interesting situation. We have a Benoni type position, but b4 has been played, so there are some pros and cons. Yeah, probably white is doing quite good here, because he can play knight d4 to c6, which is always something you must look out for when you give up a c5 pawn. So maybe he should have gone f4 here, and probably stands better. Yeah, so maybe bishop h6 is something I have to play here. But instead he played the queen to b3, and that traps the rook. So I took on c1 first, and then a5. And notice that the rook doesn't have any squares. Can't take on b6. Knight is protecting, so rook b5. And I took with knight. Knight takes, and now still I have this nice square. I can open up stuff for my pieces on the king side with f5 at some point. So queen e7 to protect d6, so I can play bishop d7 next. But the knight went back. Still played this, and now okay, this is weak, so I want to attack this. Rook f8. The knight can maneuver to b4. This is probably a winning position for black. Well, not probably, I'm up the exchange. No problem. So king f2. And here I made a waiting move, trying to lure him into this that looked logical. King the queen, trying to play g4, g5. But I had a trick in store for him, which he fell for, and I won this game. Okay, game 2, I had the white pieces. and I played d4, d5, and he took on c4, Queen's Gambit accepted, and I decided to go for this Blitz trick, so to say. He can play c4, but yeah, maybe play a quick a4 and try and play e4, and the bishop is not really... It's not a huge issue to have it on c2. Let's say bishop here. Still, it's interesting for him, actually. Yeah, but probably I'll play e4 here. Yeah. e4, and then we'll try to play a4 or something. Usually when you play this, you want to have control, I think, over the e4 square if you can. Otherwise, white will get a strong center to counterbalance against this. But after bishop b7, d takes c5. You can't take back on c5 with bishop because of this trick. And actually the best move is knight bd7, so if you take back you lose 2 pawns. Okay, queen d7. I regain the piece, I'm up 2 pawns, he can't castle. He took on f3, and now his only trick is something like this. But it's nothing to worry about, really. So I should try and finish development here. But I was slightly worried. I mean, let's say I go knight c3. Okay, maybe I can actually go knight b5, which I didn't see immediately. Yeah, maybe knight b5 was a good move here. I didn't see that. The thing is, after like queen c4, jack. I mean, some counter chances, but it shouldn't be anything, really. This queen here, and if queen goes to the diagonal, I don't know which one. Well, actually I can go to b5. Queen c6 or queen b7, I go queen b5. Jack, exchanging queens. And also have the e4 move, attacking this. So it shouldn't be anything, I mean, yeah. So I should just try and finish development if I can. Still, b4 might be okay, knight d5. But my follow-up rook d1 wasn't strong, maybe if you can take on b4. b5 is also an option. Bishop b2 perhaps. But rook d1 probably didn't work, since after e4, rook c8, I'm not winning anything. So queen d4, and he simply played knight f6. And now I can't move the queen because this will hang, so I just won 1 pawn back. And from there it wasn't completely clear. And f5 was a nice move to get counterplay. Then rook c3, and here we sacrifice the exchange with pawn takes e4. He didn't really have to do that, or did he? If rook b2, I take on e6. Yeah, that's probably, and then I take on f5 and counterplay no more. Also there's a3, attacking this. Did I have a3 before in some positions? No. After knight b5, then a3 might be, yeah, maybe it was strong here to play a3. Try and win this, but okay, I messed up. Anyway, I win the exchange here. And I was expecting pawn takes f3, but now I see that after knight takes c2. Well, no, there's nothing. But I expected pawn takes f3, so I pre-moved the king, but then he could take with the rook and then take on a1, but he took on e3. And now it's just a time scramble, and I'm up the exchange, and this pawn is quite strong, so I managed to finish the game. The rest wasn't really interesting. On to game 3. And I again decided to change things up, play Benoni. So that's g4, c5, d5, b5 is the Banco. I went to the Benoni with e6. First game was check Benoni with e5. So takes, knight f3, g6, a4, a6, and h3. You can play bishop f4 also, but look at this move order is interesting as well. It will all transpose. Eventually a castle e3. This is quite a solid way to play for white. I've kind of need to study this land better, but I've seen some people play like this, just try and get immediate control over e5. But a5, and usually white wants to put a knight on c4 here if he can. So this knight is aiming for c4, but the other knight could as well, via a4 and b6. Bishop d7, queen b3, and now I realized I can't play rook b8, which would have been my ideal move because of bishop takes a6. Don't think I have any fancy Swiss and soups. Yeah, queen can always come to b6, so nothing fancy I think. So I went bishop f5, trying to get him to play e4 and then back to c8. Yeah, it should be better for white. I think I messed up a little bit here. And here I could have taken on b7, so I made a blunder here. I don't really understand why. I wanted to play rook b8 first. So I simply messed up the move order. I have to play rook b8 and then bishop d7, which was my original intention, but I played bishop d7 first. Now he could potentially take here, rook b8, queen takes c7. Okay, maybe I have a draw with perpetual, but this was not my intention, so he played here immediately. But okay, now we get the position that I wanted to play, and now I put something on b5. Trying to get some activity from my pieces. Bishop g3, bishop takes f1. Maybe I have to play something like, well, that's rather ugly. He wants to play f4, but if I play g5, then I give away the f5 square. The pawns don't move backwards, and knight e3 exploits this square immediately. So tricky situation for black. Knight e3, knight d4. Okay, the knight is active, but it isn't really doing anything much. Rook b to e8. And now f4, and now I'm on the back foot a little bit. Knight e to c4 is probably a good move, which he played. So I haven't been able to get the position that I wanted in this line. And I think white is outplaying me here. After knight takes pieces, pawn takes pieces is a good move. I think the knight is quite strong here, putting pressure on d6. And this holds up my queenside play, which, well, wasn't really existent, but knight takes b6 is... Yeah, well, maybe you can play knight takes b6 and then just come back to c4 and keep this bind. That's also an option, but feels like he should be able to play e5 pretty quickly, and black should be in trouble. So I went knight b5, trying to protect this. Not sure it's a good move. e5 was played, queen d8, queen f3. Knight back to d4. And here I was actually lucky because I had a tactic with f5. This pawn is pinned, he can't take en passant because the queen is hanging. And now I undermine this d5 pawn. So I got a little bit lucky here, but you can't give up if you're struggling. I mean, I was much worse, but I wasn't losing, so we keep playing. And here I managed to win a pawn back. And now all of a sudden my pieces become active after f4, f3. And it becomes problematic for white. And here I just went with a blitz move, h5, trying to open up his king. Maybe he can take on g6, but it's dangerous. We had little time left, so it's, well, the c4 is hanging, so can't take on g6. But I had little time left, so I thought h5, I mean, he has to react. And he blundered to bishop takes d4. I play f2 jack. Rook here, now take on d4. Now he can't take on d4 with the queen because of f1 queen, so rook f1. Rook f4, pinning this guy. Well, it's already pinned, but trying to win it now. Knight d2. I went rook f8. And it's a tricky position. If you take on d4, I simply take back because we have an x-ray here. So I can't really move anything. King h2. Now I'll take on e5. I took on g4 first, then I'll take on e5. And he's just in a world of hurt. Then he took on e5 now. Now I'm threatening rook f3. Queen g3 was played. And after king g7, yeah, I think he resigned, which was nice of him. He could have tried to flag me, but he has a lost position. So okay, quite a good start, but then things started to fall apart a little bit. Yeah, I went a little bit out of my comfort zone. Usually I play the Catalan with some knight f3 or g3, but I wanted to repeat the Nimzo line that I played yesterday in a tournament game. We went with d5, and here are some options: knight f3 or bishop g, c takes and bishop g5. I decided to go for this classical line, bishop g5, and just play with the setup recommended by or championed by Botanic with knight g to e2. And the idea is usually to eventually play f3 and e4. So I played it slowly, trying to set up e4 eventually. But here, yeah, the question is how to proceed. I was a little bit worried about some tactics, but maybe I can just play e4 here. Also worried about some knight takes, but that makes no sense. So let's say takes, which I'm not sure is a good move. Maybe I've accomplished what I want to do on this line. If c5, then maybe d5. Maybe. Yeah, something like this might be an idea. And if it's my move, I'll play e5. So let's say he makes a nothing move like a6. I think e5, let's say knight d5. Now we exchange the bishops and we have a wonderful square on e4, which can utilize the f6 or the d6 square. I may even start with a3 to prevent knight b4, but this looks quite strong as well. So maybe I was too late to play e4. And after this, no, I didn't do this. I went bishop f2 instead of e4. Now I played c5. And now it's a little too late because c4 is coming, winning the bishop, so I went queen d2, freeing the bishop. Went a6. Bishop e1. And probably played it quite nicely from here. Grabbing the initiative, but that probably shouldn't be worse. I'm probably slightly worse though, to be honest. He took with a knight. Yeah, okay, interesting. And rook d1 was a blunder. Well, since I wanted this knight on d3, I should have just taken here. And I actually don't see how it does anything to me here. Just play here. And if he penetrates, then knight d3. And everything is protected. You can't really undermine this knight. This pawn is protected. And most likely I can try and improve my position from here. Get some loft for my king. And maybe even play bishop e1, attack this pawn. So it's not clear if I'm worse here even. It looks good for black on paper, but what does he really do? Where does his knight go, for instance? Yeah, so instead of this, which I probably shouldn't lose and maybe even win, I played this rook d1 move. And if the rook takes e1, I have to resign. Point is, if rook takes, I lose my queen, and if queen takes b5, and simply rook takes check, and then he picks up my queen. That's too much. Okay, it was game 4 and finally game 5. I decided to try a different opening. I like it in these matches when the players try different stuff. It's more fun to watch, in my opinion. So we have the Leningrad Dutch. He played this knight h3 line, which is quite solid and interesting. Knight a6, e5 takes c6, and knight g5. Usually go to f4. And maybe I should have waited for him to go knight f4 before I go e5. I'm not sure, because knight g5. I would like to play knight c5, but now I thought, what, knight f7? And isn't he just picking up d6? I think so. Not, well, maybe even knight takes. But queen takes looks like the most solid move. Yeah, but I'm not sure. Should be able to protect should be able to protect this knight, but yeah, maybe some slight problems to get this knight out, but I doubt it's worth a pawn. This is something that would need to be investigated. So queen e7, bishop f4, pressure on t6, so knight e8, queen d2, bishop takes. Here the question was actually if I can just take on c4. I thought about it after the move, because maybe I just win a pawn here, because if it goes here, I go rook here. Maybe it's queen f4 now, yeah. But this position should be fine for me. Oh, tactics, I take here. Winning a piece because rook takes, take the queen, right? Okay. So I can't do that, so probably I can take on c4, so which was a missed opportunity by me. Instead, knight c5. Now I protected the pawn. a5. Usually a useful move, but maybe not necessary. I want to play e4. And since I'm planning to take on c3 after e4, maybe I should play a usual move instead of bishop e5, just something like rook d8 or something. Although, okay, and then maybe a5 hangs in some lines, but bishop e5 and then takes doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay, I'm off a pawn, but he just wants to recapture it, and probably this was, yeah, a failed strategy by me. Yeah, and from here things start to fall apart real fast. Queen e3 attacking this guy. Yeah, then knight g5, yeah, good move. Don't think I can do anything, so it's just lost, yeah. Yeah, so on this one, probably queen takes c4 was a missed opportunity. Maybe e5 was premature. No, in any case, it's been a while since I played the Leningrad. But nice to play it once in a while just to keep up. Visit old friends, so to say. But okay, a good match, some fun games. Well, hope you enjoyed it. See you later, bye bye.